Karen Roby and Daphne Leprince-Ringuet with ZDNet here today. We're talking about YouTube and the algorithm used for suggested videos and how that all works and some concerns that people are having with this exact algorithm. So Daphne, just tell us a little bit more about how YouTube goes about their suggested video list and the problems that people are now bringing to the forefront.
So the first thing to understand when it comes to online platform where we can share content, so that's YouTube, that's Facebook, that's Twitter as well, is the difference between freedom of speech and freedom of reach. So freedom of speech is something that's obviously been a hot topic recently, and it comes down to what people can and cannot put on a platform. Arguably, anyone should be able to upload anything that they want to those platforms. Freedom of reach is then the right to make sure that this content reaches a certain number of people and to expand the potential impact of this content. Now, that's a right that people aren't necessarily entitled to. That's not my vision. It's actually what a man called Guillaume Chazelot says. He used to be an engineer at Google. And since then, he has been raising awareness about the way that the YouTube recommendation algorithm works. So Chazelot is saying that it's not necessarily harmful to have extreme content, fake content, and so on platforms like YouTube. He's actually in favor of having as much content as possible on those platforms. But he's saying that the real issue lies in the way that the algorithm that YouTube then uses to recommend videos is built. This algorithm is built, in effect, according to Chazelot, to boost watch time. And this usually happens through videos that are more and more radical. So you will be prompted on YouTube to watch videos that are more radical. So for example, say if someone was to become completely radicalized simply by watching hours of YouTube videos on end, obviously from a social point of view, that's detrimental, but from the algorithm point of view, that's jackpot, that's bingo. So that's the problem according to Chazelot. He's not coming out of the blue and saying this, of course. He's led extensive research on the topic, particularly during the US presidential election in 2016, and that allowed him to conclude that YouTube's algorithm does push users to watch videos that are more and more radical. And he's since then published his results online in the press, but also in a website called algotransparency.org, which basically attempts to simulate the YouTube algorithm. So you input a word and it will attempt to show you what kind of videos YouTube is boosting for you as a user. But then there is this caveat, obviously, that the results of the research can only be partial because YouTube has no obligation to reveal the way its algorithm works. So there's no way actually of knowing exactly how the algorithm works. So you can go and give it a try. But YouTube, the platform YouTube, has said that they strongly disagree with the actual results found in algotransparency.org so far.
So obviously that is detrimental, to society, Daphne. So what is being suggested, or what can happen to keep this from happening?
So YouTube, for one, has absolutely recognized that this was an issue. Actually, they have told me that the algorithm was originally built to boost watch time. So Chazelot is right and correct in saying this. But since then, according to YouTube, the algorithm has been changed and is now built to prompt videos, boost videos based on different criteria. So this includes, for example, user satisfaction. So how happy users are with the time they spend on YouTube, whether or not they believe that the videos that have been recommended are quality videos. So that's the sort of new criteria that YouTube is basing itself on to build this new algorithm, according to YouTube, obviously. In the UK, YouTube has also recently trialed a new program that it says will reduce the amount of views on videos that it considers to be borderline content. So that's harmful videos. And YouTube has claimed that in the US, the same program has divided by 2 the amount of views on videos that are considered borderline content as prompted by the algorithm. But for Chazelot, this is not enough because, as I said, YouTube has no obligation in law to show how its algorithm works or what's the sort of data that goes into feeding the algorithm. And from there, it's impossible to have scientific proof of the fact that the algorithm is detrimental and is boosting radicalism. So that's where the issue lies for Chazelot, is in the lack of transparency that online platforms have, and ultimately in the fact that these algorithms that decide what most of us watch on these online platforms is built on the basis of data that is not revealed to us. So from there, it's impossible to regulate and therefore to deal with that problem.
All right, certainly much more to come on this, Daphne, and you can find Daphne's full article on ZDNet. Thanks so much for watching.